Hello everyone. Today in this rather short instructional video, I will be showing some basic functions of the GIMP program, which will allow us to edit pictures and do other various graphical things. In this example, we're going to be using the Lasso tool to remove this guy from our beautiful picture we took in the nature. I want to remove this guy, which quite frankly ruined the picture. So how do we go about doing this? Firstly, when editing pictures like this, you will get the best results if you get a really big image. So as you can see, this image is over more than 3,000 pixels wide and over 5,000 pixels high. So this will give a better result since you can edit them more accurately and more clearly without it being too obstructive to your vision, like without it be sticking out too much. So first of all, we'll select the zoom tool, or the Z key if you want. And then it's on plus now. You can see there's a plus next to my marker. If you hold Control, it will go to minus, which we'll use quite frankly, so quite a lot. So we'll zoom in on our target, this guy. So how do we get started? First of all, we will remove this guy from the picture entirely. And then the second step is filling it up nicely so it doesn't leave an empty gap in our picture and it looks natural as possible. So first we will select the Lasso tool, the free select tool, or the Lasso tool as it's more commonly referred to. And we will start selecting what part of the image we want to remove. So we will just start here in the corner. You give it one click, and each click places one of these buttons. It's basically a checkpoint. So using these checkpoints, you can most accurately create the outline of the thing or person or whatever on the picture you want to remove. Now, you don't have to be pixel perfect with this, but just get the general outline of the thing you want to remove from your picture. As you can see, I'm quite liberal with this. You know, if you want to be a little bit more careful, you will get a better result. But especially in really huge pictures like this, I will show you in a minute, it doesn't matter that much and it doesn't have that much impact. Since we're not professionals and it will not be pixel perfect. Anyway, so as you can see, we have a rough outline of what we want removed from this picture, this person in particular. Then we can go to edit, and then we can select fill with FG color. So it's fill with the foreground color. You could do background color as well. I like to do it with foreground color since it is standard. The green color is standard, and if you select green, later on it will be easier to see if you missed any spots while filling up your selection. So now this part is still selected. We want to unselect it since we want to go ahead and work with the entire picture and not just this Earth selection. So how we can do this is we can press Ctrl-Shift-A, or we can go to select and select none. As you can see, Shift-Ctrl-A. There we go. So as you can see, the dotted lines are gone, and now we just have a big green spot in the middle of our picture. So I'll zoom in a little bit more. So all right, now we can get started on coloring in this green blob in the middle of our picture. So how will we do this? We will use the clone tool or press C. So as you can see, the clone tool, you start with a big round kind of cursor. So what the clone tool does is it clones basically one part of the image on top of the other. I will show you how. First is select the size. As you see, this is quite big size, and as we want to be a little bit more accurate, let's maybe drop the size all the way to maybe 50. Let's see. Now that might be a little bit small. Let's go with 20. All right, perfect. So you can see here there's some sort of more whitish clouds over here. Then there's some blue over here, and then under it, it's still a little bit more blue looking. So we'll start by how to use this tool. First, you hold Control. You hold Control and you click where you want your origin to be. So basically, which part of the picture you want to clone. So I will show you. So you hold Control and you click here. As you can see, there's like a little circle staying behind. And now, as you see, if I start brushing with my mouse, the little circle will follow me, and as you can see, it will color the blue. From the circle, it will clone it. That's why it's called a clone tool, obviously. So we'll start by using this and gently going across the picture and coloring in our green blob. So I will demonstrate the white, for example. Really careful. You can. It's a good trick to constantly keep your finger on the control key and constantly keep rebasing your clone tool, so to speak. Reposition it, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, this is a lot more white, and the further you place it away, the less accurate it will be, but it will be easier to make like big strokes. But I like to especially for like parts with a different color like this, like to be a little bit careful around the edges. Oh, you see, if you overlap it and it's the origin goes in the green, as you can see, you could just copy the green and it looks disgusting. So I'm about done here. And see, now you can see why I like to use the green color, because it really pops. If you miss a spot, you can immediately notice it and adjust accordingly. Right, this is a little bit more gray. If it's not perfect, do not worry. I will show you. It's not that big of a deal. I'll show you how to improve it still. And even though, even still, it is a really big picture. So zoomed out, this will look way better. Trust me. All right, let's already zoom out a little bit just to check on our progress. As you can see, this looks quite natural already. I will say the clouds, clouds are not the most symmetrical of shapes. So I think this doesn't look too shabby. So a little bit more gray at the bottom here, and then we will go ahead with the blue. All right, so clone tool, press C, maybe a little bit smaller for the edges. Right, then let's get started on the blue. As you can see, I like to go across the sides first, like this, and then gently make my way towards the middle. As you can see, if it's just like a plain blue, can be a little bit more liberal with this. The strokes, you don't need to be so precise, as I will show you later. Another tool we shall use to make it look even better. As you can see, quite liberal with these strokes. Don't have to. You can, of course, be more careful and try to get it more accurate, but it's with like a lot of functions in GIMP, you can spend hours and hours and hours trying to get it perfect. But for this particular case of demonstrating the tools, I will just be keeping it quite simple and quite amateuristic, since I'm not a GIMP pro myself. So there we go, a little bit more. Right, now let's maybe switch to the other side like this. I'll put it really far away, and as you can see, if you put it far away, you can really make big strokes. But it is less accurate, as you see. The farther away, the bigger the strokes, but the less accurate it is. So I'll put it a little bit closer, maybe, to bridge the gap. Go. Oh. So as you can see, quite feeling like I'm back in kindergarten, eh? Just coloring between the lines. All right, so we're almost done, and then we will go on to the final step, which is like refining a little bit our colors a little bit more. Tricky over here, because we don't want to be careful not to color over the rocks too much, since that will stick out like a sore thumb. So really, like I said, you can actually, if you want, you can zoom in and do it pixel per pixel with a smaller clone tool, but for the sake of this presentation, we shall not. All right. like we're about, oh, it's done. So as you can see, the green really helped us there, finding out. All right, so let's take a look at our progress so far. As you can see, we use a really large picture, and honestly, if you're not like paying too much attention, this is already a good result. But anyone, looking more than 10 seconds at this picture will say, wait a minute, the clouds are still looking a little bit weird over there. So how can we still improve upon this? Now, a really good tool for this is the Smudge tool, or the S tool. Basically, what it does is it gives you some kind of wet finger, and it blends all the colors together nicely. So as you can see, just the same. There's no need for an origin right now. So pressing Control doesn't mean doesn't help anything. It's just brushing. It's even more easy. So let's upgrade the size a little bit. And you just gently start going left and right. And as you can see, all these unnatural looking forms in the clouds, if I start smushing them together, the colors start fading into each other, and it all looks a little bit more natural, I would say. So I recommend for these particular things, for example, for clouds like this, I recommend going horizontally, left to right. For other, if you're, for example, re-smudging something vertical, I recommend going vertical. But right now, if you go vertical, you will see like vertical strokes forming, and it won't look natural in the background. So for this, I like to go horizontal with a little bit of like a spin. So as I said, it depends on what you are smudging, on whether it will look better if you do it horizontally or not. All right, a little bit on the clouds, but not too much, since they need to be defined still. Also, you don't want to smudge too much, because otherwise you'll lose texture within the sky, because the sky isn't like flat one color anyway. So you want to be careful with this. If you smudge it too much, it will stick out because it looks too perfect, so to speak. All right, let's zoom out. We're about done here, I would say. And as you can see, it's already way, 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 way better, but we can still see some distinction between those clouds. Let's take a look if we can actually fix that. You can, for the smudge tool, press S. You can also increase the force. I will show you. If you press 100, it's way more powerful. So let's hope. Yes. Should be a lot better, I think. Let's take a look. Better. So there you go. There you have it. The basic, some basic functions which you can use to crop out people, crop out like in the background, maybe someone in your vacation picture, crop out some items, or maybe crop out like a very flashy piece of clothing that's like taking away attention from your picture. There's a whole lot of applications you can use this tool for. So let's quickly recap. Have the zoom, that's the Z, holding Control, change it, plus zooms in, minus zooms out. Then we used the Lasso tool to click, 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 click to select what we want to remove. Then we used the Clone tool, or the C, to first select origin and then start coloring. And then in the end, we use the wet finger or the smudge tool with S to even out the colors of our picture. So there you have it. We successfully removed the guy from our beautiful vacation picture. I hope this tutorial is helpful, and if you have any questions, be sure to contact me. Have a nice day, and see you in the next tutorial.